Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today, my friends? So, just a quick housekeeping. I am slowly going to start introducing solo podcasts, kind of like this, where I'm just talking and going about it. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I started off the show of me just talking, but now I'm kind of having. There's a weird seasonality thing with podcasting. I won't get too into it, but essentially, it's hard to get people during the summer and during the fall and winter to come on because of the intense family this or business and marketing. So I'm going to start introducing solo podcasts because it also just is easier for me to keep doing content without having to worry, gosh, do I have an interview this week kind of thing? It's like, oh, wait, I can just talk like this. So other than that, I'm doing YouTube more. I'm going to be posting more when I do a solo podcast like this. I'll put videos on YouTube. So you get to look at my lovely face on YouTube. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share this. Yeah, just spread the word out there and have a safe and wonderful day. Let's get right into it.
Welcome to the Josh Bolton Show, where we dive into interesting and inspiring conversations. And now, your host, Josh Bolton.
Hey, welcome everybody. Today we have Jeremy on. Absolute awesome dude. We've been chatting for like 20 minutes. When we first kicked it off, he was like, "Why are you recording?" I'm like, "I'm going to forget if we're going to hit a good point." And we've been talking about so many good website hosting things, strategies. He helped me out with theft of service. So, Jeremy, before I start rambling
I'm
off,
glad to be here, Josh. From one agency owner to another, we're talking about some success and some horror stories, and so it's been fun.
It's been really fun. So tell me a little about yourself. I know you're out in Houston, Texas, right?
Yes, I'm out in Houston, Texas. I'm married and we have 8 children. And so it's a very sizable family, a very active life. I have a background as a church pastor, enjoy writing, self-published a few books. And that led me over time into digital marketing as a side hustle and then really as a full-time operation. So I've enjoyed being a contract marketer for a set of companies. Ultimately, it ends up to more than a traditional full-time income. And when I manage it well, it's less work than a full-time setup. So I eventually spun into SEO as my favorite element. And so that's how DIY SEO was born, because I felt like it's kind of an expensive service. Many people aren't able to get a hold of it. There's a fair amount of confusion and sort of like maybe overcomplication about the subject. And so DIY SEO is a low budget, agency powered solution for small businesses and agencies who would like to leverage the power to really help people rank and just kind of cut to the bottom line of SEO and sort of skip all the extraneous talk about alt tags and other elements that play a small role. But I'm getting to the biggest piece, and that's the content and the backlinks.
it is, and that is the biggest one I've noticed in general. As we're like now, it's funny. Jeremy subscribed to my video before he even got on my channel, before he got on the Zoom call. I got the notification, but who the heck is on YouTube right now?
Man.
But it was definitely your recommendation on one of your free articles was like use YouTube as the highest ranking method for your links. But I've noticed YouTube grays out links though. Does that matter in the search engine part?
For a lot of us SEO marketers, a YouTube link would be considered a no follow link. So YouTube is limiting, if you will, the search engine power from a link at YouTube. But it's one of those, if you think about it from a logical standpoint, Google is the search engine master, right? So this is their algorithm and their result. And YouTube is one of their products. So it just makes sense to have every company doing anything online should have a link within a YouTube video. I mean, it's like, so that's why it's front and center on my, in my monthly backlink building program, because it's just, there's no reason not to have a link from YouTube,
Yeah.
So it's not gonna surge. And I mean, because it is no follow, a lot of, social media outlets put the new no follow throttle on, but Google's still able to track that connection. And so you're appeasing the Google monster. So you definitely, one of my philosophies is use every Google product and every service and fill out every form related to Google, because they're going to reward you for that.
Yeah, I noticed a while ago, I don't know if it works anymore, is I bought like a $12 domain thing for like Blogger, YouTube's thing. And it was one of those, I didn't even realize it, but for a while before Google and them cracked down on ads, I actually was making a lot of money from I'm like posting half-baked ideas on this. I'm like, no one knows I exist. I'm just going to type. And suddenly I'm looking like Google emails me. It's like, you do realize you have $75. And I'm like, these were half. Yeah, in my AdSense, okay. I still can't get it because it's not $100.
You got traffic to this Blogger site with some content that you generated, and
but it was not even strategic at all.
Okay, got you. Yeah, free form and for fun, and you receive Google AdSense.
Yeah, no, I still look at it. That's where I'm like, I want to get my money out, but it's like, you need $100 to pull that out.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I use Google AdSense as well. Yeah, the $100 payment threshold. Well, it sounds like you're not too far. I mean, there are a lot of interesting things out there. Maybe you must have been writing about something maybe that wasn't that competitive, and with keyword research, we can see what's competitive, and see who's competing for various topics. And ultimately, my main message with DIY SEO is that the majority of people listening need approximately 100 new referring domains to create a significant improvement in their rankings. Okay. And by referring domain, that's maybe the only jargon term I'll use. That's a backlink from an external website to your site. I'm just interested in I'm interested in that one backlink from that one website, and then I'm moving on to the next website.
Right.
I'd rather have 100 websites giving me one backlink each for a total of 100 referring domains, 100 backlinks, than have two websites give me 50 backlinks each. So you follow. So
yeah,
if people get a backlink from 100 different referring domains, especially including some medium and higher value sites in that mix, they're going to see a very noticeable increase in their rankings, as long as they have content already that corresponds with the searches they hope to rank for. Sometimes people don't even have the content or the page that corresponds with the keyword they're desiring. So they've got to create that content piece, which doesn't have to be overwhelming. 3, 4, 5 paragraphs. Look at the competition, see what articles and what amount of text and information is already ranking, then work to exceed that. And then support all your efforts and your domain by building backlinks, to your homepage in general, and then often to your specific money pages or key pages, like if you're pest control, your ant page, your roach page, your rodent page, and so the sum of those efforts will definitely pay off.
So I'm just curious for you then, what are some of the SEO tools or services you recommend?
I use Ahrefs. I'm a huge Ahrefs user, and within DIY SEO, I recommend all my members start with a Ahrefs trial, $7, 7 days. Usually they can get a lot of data that they can get the majority of the data they need within that time. Mm-hmm. I also use Keywords Everywhere as a Chrome extension, and as I'm browsing, it gives me some nice keyword data. There is the opportunity to purchase credits and to quickly generate more data, more keyword results as you go. But I love the free option there. And I use Ahrefs for keyword tracking. I use Bright Local for local keyword rank tracking. So all of those have free options and free tiers. And that's really what folks need. What I use Ahrefs primarily for is if I'm working with a plumbing company, I look at the 3 or 4 plumbing companies in their area that are ranking ahead of them. Then I'm gonna use Ahrefs to download their backlinks, and I'm gonna get a sense of how strong those 4 competitors ahead of my client are, and where they're getting their backlinks from. And so I harness that data into DIY SEO at scale. So I've got great backlink opportunities for people, grouped by industry, grouped by location, starting with Texas regions. And I also have special plays for people who are podcasters, authors, other types of, I show companies how they can use their existing assets and their existing goodwill in order to generate online PR and SEO gain. For example, a job page, a career page. There are so many ways to build backlinks by sharing and networking your job page, because the world at large is interested in jobs, and media outlets are interested in exposing job opportunities to their readers. And so if you help them by promoting properly your a company's job page or career page, then you can earn backlinks that way. It's just an example. So
interesting. I'm just curious now, because you touched a little on me. It's the podcasting part. Is that going on podcasters and getting them to put your link, or is there a whole strategy to help podcasters rank better?
Great. What you referenced is really the top of the tier. When you're creating content and you're networking with people online, like we're networking through this episode. So I'm a guest on your show, and so basically we both have an interest now in this episode, and so a mutual linking back and forth is the ultimate. So if somebody is in their industry, being a guest on shows, being interviewed, sharing, tips and information, and earning backlinks that way because their company's being linked to or referenced, that's the ultimate. I mean, what I also have for podcasters is I have a list of podcast directory style sites, podcast platforms, all different types of podcast sites. So the moment someone has a podcast, even if they haven't been on many shows, et cetera, they can begin building a set of backlinks. Some of them, like starting with your podcasting, your hosting platform, your episode show notes go in there. You ought to include your own domain in your show notes, and that will create backlinks. And
I did not think about that one. I'm going to start doing that now.
Yeah. So, have your own. So I actually, this is a small business special play. This pest control company that we're creating as a scenario, they can start a podcast right on anchored.fm.com, and we could quickly generate 20 quality, medium to high quality backlinks for them as a result of this very basic podcast show that they've started. So and think about that. How many other pest control companies are going to do that? Very few.
Very few. Yeah.
They're going to. So I started because I had to kind of growth hack my way to client success, and a lot of times they didn't have much of a budget and so on. So I thought of, once or twice I would interview over a Zoom call or over Skype one of the founders and actually talk about the industry and turn these conversations into podcast episodes in a very simple way. And oftentimes I would transcribe our conversation into a blog post. So I then, got some content out of this, actually from an expert, and got it, into the SEO game.
So that's actually one a lot of people have recommended to me, but the biggest one for me is I use Otter to transcribe everything.
Okay.
But it, like, certain words, like, we as a human can pick it up, but we really muffle or slur it too much for the computer to understand.
Yeah.
And there are times when I've read through the transcripts, it's a solid like 20,000 words when I'm done for a full hour interview for me. And I'm sitting here going like, I can't edit this all in one day kind of thing.
And that is a lot. I mean, yes. Wow. That is a lot of words. I do tell people I've done the 20-minute phone call. I'll get 6,000 words, and then I will cull it down to about 4,000. So you could delete whole sections.
That's a good, okay. I'm going to take that up.
Look choppy. You also can pay for a human transcription too. The cost is obviously higher, but you could.
I do know a lady that does. She would give me editing for like 2 cents a word, essentially.
Okay.
It's not bad. I think she said if I did 40,000, it would be like $1,000. 40,000 words is like $1,000. I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's not bad, but I'm like, still, if I gave you 20, that's like almost $200. There's no guarantee I'm gonna make money.
Yes.
So,
nice.
But yeah, no, I got a few people. That's just that was a daunting one. Looking at like, I took it and put in Grammarly, and it's like you have 3,000 errors, and I'm like, I don't have time for this.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's crazy, man. Yes,
but so okay, chunking out the actual podcast, the blog, would that be like a drip series where like I clean it all up through time?
I'm just saying, like, if you've got 20,000 words, you might not need all of that in your transcript. And so if you saw several big paragraphs that had a lot of jargon or muddled terms, you might just quickly delete those 2 paragraphs. Boom, boom, boom. So you're reducing your workload basically. So that's what you're just trying to isolate the like better sections, if you will. And you could say, I'm going to choose the best 8 paragraphs. I'm going to fine tune those and go just so you can move forward,
Okay. I'm definitely going to do that because I do technically have a blog on my website. It's not like WordPress optimized, but it does generate traffic kind of thing.
Okay. Yes. I mean, you've got all these words flowing from the podcast episodes, or if you need to interview a client or something about what they do, it is a great way to generate content because they're rarely going to write something down for you. But if you give them a way to speak about what they know and they're what they're experts in, you really can, get some good meat. And then Google loves that text, so.
Perfect.
Anyway.
Yeah. Then I'll get more strategic on that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So for you, we were talking about software earlier. I'm very curious about that. And then anything else we need to get into. What's your experience with software? Because I tried Kartra. That was just a nightmare to get up and running.
Software has been amazing. It's something that I use.
Is the kid trying to break in or something?
Yeah, the kids are trying to break in. So software is something I use to display my Airtable data. So with DIY SEO, I've got 3,000 different backlink sources organized and cataloged in different ways. And so software allows me to display this Airtable data in various views that are user friendly. And it has a user login feature, essentially forms the shell of a website and allows for member access and so on. So I found software really, really cool in particular for displaying Airtable data. So if anyone has data that they would within Airtable they would like to sell or share, it's really cool because you can choose the different card style or list style formats for your records, and you can share. You can choose to have a thumbnail, image, or whatever. So it's cool. It's a very cool tool.
So I take it Airtable then from the explaining it. It's a place where you put your information. It categorizes, sorts it, and then software extracts that and makes it even easier to read.
Yes. So Airtable is a level up from Excel, and especially when it comes to images and text. And so you can paste all kinds of cool data inside, like you can have drop-down menus and color coding, and really, really cool way to have a spreadsheet essentially. And so that's where I save all of my DIY SEO data, and then software allows me to display it in user-friendly ways. So I can create a page on software within my software site and say, this page is for pest control companies. And then I'm going to create a list and show all of the different backlink opportunities that I have tagged as relevant to pest control companies. And so only those cards are going to show up on the pest control page.
Okay, cool. That is very useful. Yeah.
Yeah. It's neat. It's cool what you can do with software. So you can create like actionable tables, and that your users can click, option 1, option 2, and then the data will refresh and change. And so it's
that's neat.
it's good. Yeah.
So then would that be the better option, or should I build something? Because it would, for me, I guess it would be more of like a hub where, yes, the data for like, because I get, like I was telling you earlier, I get asked for podcast coaching, but also strategies. Mm-hmm. Would that also work for a type of coaching, or is it more a place like, here's what I recommend, pay me like the $20 a month to get this, like my lead
if
list?
You have tables, if you really do have spreadsheets and tables, and if that's the best way to house your knowledge, then software would be good. But if your knowledge is better shared in video format, or like modules and things like that, or Word documents or something, then you probably could use a more traditional course system, software type tool. But software is extreme if you have a good bit of data in an Airtable. Like if like you mentioned tools, yes, like you've got a list of 20 tools, that could be a software thing, but that probably alone wouldn't be enough to do software. But you see, like I've got 3,000 different
strategies,
sources, and then I'm displaying that in different pages for different groups of people or different sets of people. And so that's why software has been a great solution for me.
Yeah, my knowledge is either better by video or just by saying it. It's like follow me as I do this video kind of style.
Okay. Yes, totally.
So it might be more build out like a YouTube, I guess, at this point. I was curious if you knew of a good CRM, because like I said, Kartra, I paid them their $100 a month to get in, and I built out everything on the back end. It was perfect, flowing, the marketing, the affiliates, and whatever. But I couldn't get the actual link to hook to Kartra. So it was like something crazy. Like it was J.R. Bolton something dot Kartra dot something, and I'm like, no one's gonna remember that. And I was yelling at the reps.
Are you interested in setting? So you've got Kartra widely set up, which sounds good. Are you interested in connecting your Kartra unique URL to a custom domain?
Yes. And I did it like 5 times and it didn't work.
Their support should be able to help you, because I've done the exact same thing within Kajabi, and I understand it. And I relied on support to hold my hand. But you can definitely connect your unique Kartra
I did
URL to any custom domain. And so if I go to joshbolton.com, and you could connect your Kartra registration page there. So it's definitely possible.
That's what I did. I actually, for a while, I was hitting up support. I'm like, hey, I'm doing this. I've built out my back end, and they're like, oh, give it 24 hours. So I literally went to my email, scheduled a 24-hour thing, and said, still doesn't work. What am I supposed to do? Kind of thing. And they just kept saying, oh, give it 24 hours, or, oh, you input this data wrong. I took the screenshots and everything. It took a new guy that got hired within the week to read. He read through all my notes, and he's like, oh, they gave you the runaround. He's like, yeah, if it doesn't work like that, and it looks like you've done everything, he's like, it's just not going to work.
Okay. Goodness. Well, that's
right. Crazy. And I told him, like, thank you so much for being honest with me, because these guys kept giving me the runaround. I even hired my mentor, even went in. He's like an SEO guy like you. He's just like, okay, do this, and this, and that. We did it on the Zoom call. Everyone watched. And then we came back a week later, and he's like, oh, how'd it work? And I was like, well, I emailed him like 3 days later. He said, give the World Wide Web, it's like 3 days. He's like, even though everything's fast, there's a few things that are slow about the internet to these days. And I'm like, okay. 3 days later, he hits me up and he's like, what happened? I'm like, type in my address, see what happened. He does, didn't come up.
Oh my.
And then that's where he's like, well, he's like, are you okay with paying $20 for 1 hour? I know a lady on Fiverr that can get this done. Same thing.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes. Goodness.
So I was just one of those. I told him, I'm like, I'm on this question, but what's a good CRM I should use?
Yes. Yes. Man, I use Kajabi, so that's my.
Kajabi?
Although I'm a relatively new user, yeah, Kajabi to market and fulfill my subscribers.
So that would be your business clientele subscribers, right?
Yes, but
Okay.
also, and I do connect with ConvertKit as part of my marketing stack. So ConvertKit sends automated emails to folks for me.
Okay. So then I'm assuming with your SEO and marketing, how would you help someone rank a lead page for a email like squeeze page for SEO?
Um, it's the same way you would market any type of business. They would simply, need to build up the domain with quality backlinks so that domain had a set of, had a recognized domain authority. And then, the squeeze page or the registration page should have some content that corresponds and actually provides information so that Google would consider ranking it for something, so the number
Yep.
one piece is making sure that domain is solid with backlinks.
So then it would then I guess the hypothetical, let's say I pay you whatever your monthly rate is, and I see these sites, but let's say it's something like the medium you recommend for this industry. Would I have to be an actual apply to the medium, get like author permission, and then post something, or would I have to?
Good question. Yes, good question. There are sites like Medium which have that's say simple registration processes, right? You can quickly register. That there is a distinction between being an authorized Medium author within certain Medium niche publications, but to just be a general Medium user, that's a 1 minute registration process, and then you can post to Medium. So that's what I would suggest for the majority of folks. Similar to what you just brought up, I have subscribed to a set of websites and publishing tools where somebody can use my login and go, because they really only need to create one piece of content, right? Within that tool, they can go use my login as a DIY SEO member, and then they can pay, and then they can create one piece of content, within that site and include their backlink. So that I call that the subscription play. That's sites like Zendesk, which are the help desk site. So you can create help desk articles and have backlinks within those, and that creates really high value backlinks opportunities.
Another one I heard is LinkedIn's really good on the backlink power too.
Maybe so, but I wouldn't assign much value to the obvious social media tools like Facebook and so on. I mean, what we're really trying to do is get to less common sites that are used by higher end entities like a Zendesk. I'd rather have a link from Zendesk than LinkedIn. Just because Zendesk is a paid tool used by medium to large corporations for help desk software, and it's possible to create links within that. And for some, Google makes a distinction between those two.
Yeah, I'm sure they have all these unique tags.
Yeah. So while we don't understand all of Google's thinking, what we're trying to do is create links quickly and rapidly from smart places. One amazing backlink source is aarp.org. They have a business directory for companies willing to sign a pledge to respect workers of all ages. It's American Association of Retired Persons. So that's a high-powered backlink that almost any company can obtain. It's a simple form to fill out. Wait 2 weeks, and then they'll publish your backlink. Or they'll publish your profile, to their page, which creates the backlink. So that's the kind of thing that I've got within DIY SEO is I've scoured the web and scoured hundreds and even probably thousands of backlink profiles of different companies. And I've looked for these cool finds. Like, wow, they got a backlink from here. How'd they do that? And so I note that within my Airtable database and share that data out. So anyway, I've got to go in a second, Josh.
All right.
Sorry.
These three, are they supposed to be in nursery or
No.
are they supposed to be here?
No.
Okay, the
They're
two
coming
little
here.
ones are in there. Do
Yeah.
you want them?
No, they're going back in there. What are you guys doing?
Are you going on nursery?
Yeah, no, you're not going to retreat. Sorry, Josh. I got to finish in a minute because I got school lunch.
I would say this has been absolutely great.
Yeah. Sorry for the cut up, but yeah, we can do a final sequence, and I'll
Perfect. So usually ask three going out.
Go ahead.
I would say I usually ask three going out questions. I just got two. What are someone inspired by you that living a good life, making good money, but it's free to be with the kids? What are some tips, tricks, or advice you give them to start down that path?
I would say learn some high value, interesting skills. Offer those skills in unique ways. Maybe undercut bigger companies that are providing those skills or services, and then also look for ways to create products or create information out of what you're doing. And if you're able to, when you're able to do that, you really can get scale. It's certainly not necessarily overnight, but if you're able to bottle up your process or your data or your tips, et cetera, you can really share that out.
Perfect. The second question is, where can everyone contact you at?
I'm available at DIYSEO.link, and then we'll have your unique link in the show notes. And anyone who would like to, check out, watch my 10-minute presentation where I go into detail with slides about, how to do DIY and what kind of results people can expect, within that presentation. So, yeah,
Perfect.
I'd love to connect with people that way.
Wonderful. Thank you for so much. I've already learned like a ton in just our quick chat.
Oh, awesome, man. Well, I'm glad. Thank you. I've enjoyed it, Josh.
Thank you. Have a safe and wonderful day.
You too. See you, man.
Well, congratulations. You made it to the end. You are an awesome person. Not many make it here. So, being the awesome person that you are, can you do me one more awesome favor? Can you rate and review this on whatever podcast services you're using? If you do it on Apple and you leave an actual written review, I have a thing on my website. I will take your written review and post it for all to see. Congratulations, you're permanently sealed on my site. Otherwise, I am trying to do YouTube more and live streaming. I will try to put as many of the YouTube links in the description of the show as I can. So give your boy some extra help over on YouTube. Watch my videos. I just mute it and change the channel, change the window or something. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for being awesome and see you next time.